of sports. Ogun State-born Tobi Amusan became the first Nigerian ever to win gold at the World Athletics Championships after racing to a stunning world record time of 12 minutes 6 seconds. It was the second time.
Coming into the semis, I knew it was a very competitive field, so the goal was to execute and survive to the finals and seeing the world record. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But I had to keep my composure for the finals, and I think I handled that pretty good, and all thanks to God.
President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Tobi Amusan for winning the women's 100 meters hurdles gold for Nigeria at the World Athletics Championship 2022. He also celebrated the 25-year-old who had set a new world record in the semi-finals of the athletic event and for becoming the first Nigerian to win a world championship. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, conveyed President Muhammadu Buhari's message in a statement on Monday. Similarly, the president commended Ese Brume for representing Nigeria with honor and pride, winning silver medal in the women's long jump event. He praised Team Nigeria for displaying courage, integrity, and good sportsmanship at the world stage, proving that with hard work and determination, success is achievable. Amusan, 25, blazed over the line at Howard Field in 12 minutes 6 seconds, not long after she smashed the world record in an overwhelming semi-final where she clocked 12 minutes 12 seconds. She delivered a jaw-dropping world record in the semis when she shattered the previous best mark of 12 minutes 20 seconds held by Ken Harrison of the United States since 2016. Meanwhile, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun felicitated world-class sprinter and new world record holder Tobi Amusan, saying the feat is another superlative record coming from an Ogun State indigene. Therefore, she has reconfirmed Ogun State's standard of excellence in sports. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Kunle Shomori, Governor Abiodun said Amusan's feat at the 2022 World Athletics Championship held in Eugene, Oregon, USA, is heartwarming and a theme of pride to not only the black race, but the nation and Ogun State in particular. Governor Abiodun recalled how his administration, during the COVID-19 pandemic, announced the adoption of the talented Ijebu-Ode-born athlete, as proposed by the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, when he visited Ogun State, noted that the support given her as a state of many firsts is another testimony to the fact that the state government is happy to be associated with her. The statement adds that it is the second time Amusan will break the record on the night, improving on 12 minutes 12 seconds in the semi-final, as previously set by America's Kendra Harrison's at 12 minutes 20 seconds. The governor said Amusan's victory is a sort of compensation for a disappointing outing in Tokyo last year, where she finished fourth in the final, despite being touted to take one of the medals. Governor Abiodun therefore reiterated that, as a government, it will continue to put infrastructure in place to encourage Moson Abeokuta. Governor's office correspondent Yusuf Daniyu reports.
Government about the next censor come 2020. in order to fine-tune its strategies for next year's exercise.
Other areas were specifically and purposely carried out to achieve the objectives of flat census. Selection of samples from all the states of the Federation University is expected to yield nationwide information on the state-specific issues that may arise from the next census and come up with a possible solution for addressing these challenges.
Representative of the United Nations Population Fund, Ms. Elizabeth Muller, also lent his voice.
16 years is a long time, and it is overdue. Knowing what a population looks like is critical to further progress development in the country. We need to know where they live, we need to know who they are, we need to know what this great country looks like. This is a country who is on trajectory to be the first most populous country in the world by 2050.
While welcoming the delegation, Governor Abiodun said census exercise is extremely important as it is fundamental to the provision of social services, infrastructure, management of both human and financial resources, adding that the data available have become obsolete as the last census took place about 16 years ago.
It's not only important for this exercise, like Elizabeth remarked. It's not just important for it to be conducted, but it's important for it to be credible, for it to be reliable, and for it to be very successful. I want to assure you that as a state government, we are looking forward to a very successful census exercise next year.
He also appreciated the Commission for choosing Imekuafon to represent the Southwest in the test running of the exercise, while the governor promised that he would appoint a senior special assistant on census matters in the next 1 week in order to ensure a smooth relationship between the Commission and the state government.
There are many foreign investors are coming here in their thousands because any business enterprise thrives and succeeds based on the numbers of patronage that you benefit from. But this more success that we can record will be against the background of a successful census exercise, because then we'll have validated data that can be relied on.
The governor thereafter presented a compendium that comprised activities of the government to the commission, which wrapped up the event. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
In the meantime, as Nigeria prepares for another census, the need for the deployment of the results to be generated for national planning and proper demarcation in order not to render the whole exercise a nullity like the previous ones has been advocated. This came from the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, while receiving members of the National Population Commission, led by the chairman, Honorable Nasir Kwara, during a courtesy call on him as part of the visit to monitor the trial census to be conducted in Imekuafon local government area of the state. Matthew Shomi completes the report.
Another opportunity to collect accurate data of the people of the country, and the commission saddled with the responsibility of conducting the national census in Nigeria by 2023 is here at the home of the man whose administration conducted the last census in the country as part of the visit to Imekuafon local government area of Ogun State, chosen for the trial census in the southwest region of the country. Former President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, said accurate census is very important for national planning, and no nation can achieve anything without the information of the number of people residing in it, and advised that the issue of religion and ethnicity should not be included, as it almost marred the one conducted by his administration.
No census figure can be absolutely correct, yes, but roughly correct. They say, for instance, that there are 14 million children that should be in school that are not in school.
Yes, sir.
If that is roughly correct, then we are all sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
Chairman of the commission, Honorable Nasir Kwara, praised the commitment of the former president to the conduct of the census that everyone could be proud of, and revealed that the commission will be recruiting over 1.5 million youths for the exercise.
It's a radical departure from the 2006 census, We also want to check the digital data collection methodology and also the management model, quality assurance, and other measures to make sure it is going to be an accurate, verifiable census.
A representative of the United Nations Population Fund, Elizabeth Muela, and a federal commissioner representing Ogun State, Yeye Oluwaseyi Aderinokun, expressed their delight to be in the state. The commission was also at the palace of Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, to receive his royal blessing.
Nigeria of the future will be much better than what we are having today. And the best way to start that future is to know how many are we.
The chairman of the commission said as the only state chosen for the trial in the southwest region, Ogun State has a huge role to play in the success of the exercise. Matthew Shoumi, OGTV News.
Still ahead, President Buhari appoints Dauda Biu as acting FRSC Court Marshal as Boboye Oyeyemi bows out. Join us for this and more. After State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development says it has generated a total of 269.95 million naira, representing 50% of its revenue target for the year January and June this year. The permanent secretary in the ministry, Mr. Tunji Kanimodu, disclosed this while presenting the ministry's 2022 budget performance for the second quarter before the state lawmakers at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kola Woliosho's report is presented in this package.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Tunji Kanimodu, during the exercise outlined the revenue sources to include land use fees, mast charges, administrative fees, plot allocation and layout fees, as well as sales of bills entries, among others. He added that the ministry, which created 2 additional zonal town planning offices in Aton and Adodo for operational efficiency, had prepared structural plans for 5 train stations at Agbado, Kajola, Papalanto, Laderin, and Olodo, with a view to preventing haphazard development around the stations. Other agencies that had their budget performance reports appraised by the lawmakers include the Office of the Head of Service, Bureau of Service Matters, Establishment and Training, as well as State Pensions, Civil Service Commission, and Public Service Transformation Office, as led by the State Head of Service, Dr. Nofiu Aigoro. Others are Ministries of Health, Youth and Sports, as well as State Primary Health Care, Board, and Hospital Management Board, among others.
All public and private primary and secondary schools, as well as government science and technical colleges in Ogun State, are to proceed on third-term holiday for the 2021-2022 academic session from Monday, 1st August 2022. A statement by the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, says all schools are expected to resume for first-term academic activities for the 2022-2023 academic session on Monday, 19th September 2022. The statement advised parents and guardians to ensure that their wards are properly monitored during the holiday. Owing to emerging security threats from terrorists, the federal government has directed the National Examination Council, NECO, to hasten the conduct of examinations for final year students. It has also ordered the immediate closure of one of its colleges, the Federal Government College, Kwali, located in Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, over similar security threats. Minister of Education, Adamu, gave the directive in the early hours of Monday, saying the closure became necessary following a security breach on Sheda and Lambata villages, suburbs of Kwali Area Council, which also threatened Federal Government Girls College, Kwali. According to the minister, the timely intervention of security agencies saved the situation. The latest threats also followed an attack on a Catholic church in Owo, Ondo State, where scores of worshippers were killed in cold blood. In recent times, a number of religious leaders have also fallen prey to terrorist groups, with some, unfortunately, losing their lives in the process. The National Examinations Council, NECO, says it has deployed cutting-edge software to ensure efficient grading of students and candidates in its various examinations. Professor Dantani Wusheshi, the Registrar and Chief Executive of NECO, disclosed this in Minna, Niger State, during a press briefing to mark his 1 year in office. Speaking on the new grading system, Wusheshi said the software would ensure precise grade value for every subject. On the successes recorded in recent times in the conduct of the school-based senior school certificate examination and its external version, Basic Education Certificate Examination, as well as the National Common Entrance Examination of Unity Schools, Wusheshi said NECO has been able to put in place mechanisms to drastically reduce cases of malpractice and other challenges. The NECO boss listed some of the measures to include the deployment of robust security surveillance for exam papers and officials, improved welfare mechanisms for staff and examiners, use of foolproof software in the selection of NECO staff on monitoring duties, among others. He, however, lamented that the initial placement of NECO on the list of ministries, departments, and agencies that remit 25% of generated revenue to government coffers took a toll on the exam body's activities. About 367,499 candidates applied for the 43,717 slots available in medicine departments in Nigerian universities for the 2022 Unified Tertiary Matriculations Examination conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. According to data obtained from JAMB, the highest percentage of candidates for the examination chose medicine as a first choice for course of study in universities. It was also revealed that 231,907 applied for social science courses, despite that only 93,277 slots are available, while 204,734 applied for science-related courses, despite 132,796 vacancies. Further breakdown also revealed that 81,653 applied for law-related courses, despite 8,529 vacancies. 103,891 students applied for technology-related courses with 60,199 vacancies. 72,014 applied for courses under Arts and Humanities, despite 48,744 vacancies. However, JAMB noted that fewer candidates applied for agriculture and education-related courses, despite the huge vacancies existing in the faculties. For instance, despite 111,601 vacancies existing for education courses in all Nigerian universities, only 53,612 candidates applied. The board also noted that 21,568 applied for agriculture, despite the country's universities having 31,217 vacancies. No fewer than 1.8 million candidates sat for the 2022 UTME direct entry examinations conducted by the admission body. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Mr. Dauda Biu as the acting court marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, following the retirement of Mr. Boboye Oyeyemi. Oyeyemi said this when he handed over to Biu at the FRSC headquarters on Monday in Abuja. This is contained in a statement by the Corps Public Education Officer, Assistant Corps Marshal BC Kazim, on Monday in Abuja. Oyeyemi said that Biu's appointment took effect from July 24 and wished him a successful tenure as he assumed office. Speaking FRSC Board Chairman Malam Bukari Bello congratulated Bello on his appointment and urged him to sustain the tempo as well as ensure that it justify his appointment. Bello said that the former Corps Marshal laid a good foundation for the Corps and urged the acting Corps Marshal to continue where he stopped. Bello appreciated the management of the FRSC and the presidency for the appointment and pledged to justify the appointment. He holds a master's degree in business administration from Ahmadu Bello University and was the assistant Corps Marshal, Finance and Accounts in 2014 before becoming the DCN in 2016. The former Corps Marshal, FRSC, Boboye Oyeyemi, retired from service on Sunday, July 24. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the deadline for the continuous voters registration exercise remains July 31, and those who register more than once will not get their PVCs. The Resident Electoral Commissioner, INEC FCT, Alhaji Yahya Bello, made this known at a news conference on the Commission's state of preparedness for the 2023 general elections on CVR, PVC validity and collection in Abuja. Bello said that all CVR activities, except the collection of already printed PVCs, would be suspended on Sunday, July 31, adding that the Commission increased the closing hours to 5 in the evening daily, including Saturdays and Sundays. According to him, this was done to accommodate the reawakening of those who now realized that they need their PVCs at the last hour of the program that has been ongoing for over a year. He said the number of people who registered and whose registration has been invalidated is becoming alarming, with a lot of people who registered in 1 or 2 registration centers. The recently amended 2022 Electoral Act has helped a great deal by serving as a pointer that democracy will take its true course during the fast approaching 2023 general elections. This was the crux of the discussion with legal practitioners and public affairs analysts. In this special report, Margaret Okunlola x-rays its implementation in the 2 recently conducted Ekiti and Osun State's governorship elections. A report.
Following the signing of the 2022 Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law by President Muhammadu Buhari on 25th February 2022, the new Electoral Act repeals the former, which is the Electoral Act No. 6, 2010, thereby bringing innovations to the regulation of federal, state, and area council elections in Nigeria.
The essence of the enactment of any legislation is to be subjected to review so that it suits the trend in the system. For instance, there is in the new Electoral Act, there is no provision for manual accreditation. So unlike before, when one is not accredited through the machine, the gadget provided.
As Nigeria approaches its 2023 general elections, the enactment and implementation of these has come to manifestation, as some, if not all, have come to play using the Ekiti and Osun State elections. Zeroing in on the just concluded Osun State election, where the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Ademola Adeleke, emerged winner over the incumbent governor of the state from the All Progressives Congress, Governor Adegboyega Oyitola. The implementation and implications of the recently amended sections of the Electoral Act was somewhat a test run ahead of the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Some Nigerians who spoke with OGTV News crew affirmed that its implementation has sanitized the country's political atmosphere on one hand, while the high turnout of electorate helped on the other hand.
One will, of course, commend people who sat down and noticed loophole in the XY law, by bringing, modernity to the current law and making it to fall in tune with current reality.
The power is gravitating back to the people, the electorate, going by what we saw at the just concluded Osun elections.
Some legal practitioners were of the opinion that the Electoral Act had helped greatly in reducing election-related litigations, thereby instilling transparency and accountability in the electoral process.
From the result of this Osun election, there is more transparency given the technological transmission of the electoral results, how it's going and how it's been transpiring on the internet for each and every Nigerians to see. So that's another very fair one from that.
Respondents expressed confidence in the timely improvement and assurance in the fast approaching 2023 general elections has come at the right time.
The Electoral Act, the amended one, in one way or the other, could also be a plus to that, because some of the section which happened to be a little bit sour in the previous one has been amended in the new one.
It gives the confidence to the people that, okay, our mandate is going to be delivered, surely. And I think that is just all thanks to two very cogent points. I think the first thing is the fact that Nigerians and the people of Osun generally, they moved out massively to vote. So, and the other one is the effect of the Electoral Act, the newly amended one.
As the election comes knocking with every tick on the clock, respondents urged Nigerians to troop out en masse to perform their civic obligations during the 2023 general elections. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
Comrade Olanrewaju Shuremekun has emerged the newly elected chairman of OGTV chapter of Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union, Ratawu. He emerged alongside other executive members after the conduct of a credible, free and fair election by members of the union witnessed by the state executives. Elizabeth Esson covered the election held at the conference hall of OGTV. He reports.
Election is believed to be the only credible process for a credible leader to emerge and for the masses' conscience to be satisfied. These manifested as members of the OGTV chapter of Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union, Ratawu, went to the poll to elect new executives to run the affairs of the union. After the election conducted by the electoral officers from the state Ratawu ESCO, Comrade Olanrewaju Shuremekun emerged chairman with 66 votes out of the 109 total votes cast. The new vice chairman, Yomi Shoroye, scored 67 votes. Comrade James Yasuno, secretary, had 68 votes. Comrade Shegun Adebayo, assistant secretary, emerged with 61 votes. Comrade Sunday Adenekom, financial secretary, with 63 votes. Comrade Valentine Uko, PRO, recorded 56 votes. Comrade Soji Bangboye, auditor, with 65 votes. While Comrade Bolaji Ajasa emerged treasurer with 66 votes. The newly elected executives, OGTV chapter Ratawu, were thereafter inaugurated as they were admonished to be focused and committed.
They have imposed their trust in you through the power of the ballot and must not in any way disappointed. The power of the ballot is very, very powerful. For the trusted in your heart, it shows that you are capable. You have seen you as very capable and trustworthy.
The election has come and it has gone, so they should leave it behind them and work towards the development of the Ratawu itself and the station itself.
All glory to God. Well, I can only advise that they should be steadfast. They should be fearless. They should be straightforward. They should not allow the spirit of fear, because if they allow the spirit of fear, they might not be able to achieve, they might not be able to go far.
In his acceptance speech, the newly elected chairman, Comrade Lanre Shuremekun, appreciated members for giving him and his team the opportunity to serve.
The administration intends to build on the achievements of past administration, and also ready to make a turnaround I'm aware of the fact that the assignment is daunting. Therefore, I call on all my colleagues to join me to reflect on our past, critically assess the present, and look forward to the future.
The immediate past executives were elected in the year 2016. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
One of the foremost popular socio-cultural clubs in Nigeria, located in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, Abeokuta Club, will be celebrating its 50 years of existence from the 21st of July to 13th of August 2022. To this end, a press briefing was held to reel out activities that will mark the Golden Jubilee. Bumi Adigun reports.
Abeokuta Club, since it was created on 2nd August 1972 by Egba sons of like minds, who played prominent roles at the coronation of the immediate past Alake of Egbaland, Oba Mofolonsho Oyebade Lipede, has grown in leaps and bounds. The social-cultural movement is designed to provide appropriate platform for the educational, cultural, recreational growth and development of Egbaland. To celebrate its 50th anniversary, the club has put a week-long event to make it historic and memorable.
On Monday, the 1st of August, 2022, shall pay visits to the Children's Home, Ibara, Abeokuta, and the Lepers Colony, Iberekodo. We believe those sectors need our humanitarian service and encouragement. So we have decided to visit the Motherless Children's Home. On Thursday, the 4th of August, 2022, by the grace of God, the program we have is a medical outreach to all communities in Egbaland.
Chief Tokumbo Odebumi, who is the president of the club, reeled further that the club is set to honor deserving members of the club, posthumous awards to families of late heroes. Professor Wole Soyinka will be moderating the club's anniversary interactive session, which will have Mr. Fola Adiola as the chairman, while Chief Olusegun Obasanjo will be presiding over the 50th anniversary Golden Awards.
The Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, had graciously agreed to serve as the moderator at the interactive session, with the following eminent Nigerians as discussants: Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria; Professor Ishaq Oloyede, as the Registrar of JAMB; Dr. Ume Babati of the Arise television and newspapers and so, and a former public officer during the regime of Dr. Ebele Jonathan. Olotu Ogoluwa Bankole, Chief Sunday Oduton, Dr. Ogbenga Adeoye.
The week-long celebration will be rounded off on Saturday, 13th of August, with a golf competition at the Abeokuta Golf Club. Bumi Adigun, OGTV News.
Business news is next.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. Nigeria may witness another round of blackout beginning from Tuesday, as electricity workers on Sunday insisted that they would join the solidarity protest of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Academic Staff Union of Universities. Power sector workers under the aegis of the National Union of Electricity Employees made their position known in a letter issued by the General Secretary, Noe Joe Ajeru, to the Vice President of the State and Administrative Council Chapter Secretariat of the Union. In the letter, the union stated that it would join in the protest to kick against the prolonged closure of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. It read in part, in line with the NLC's directive and our position, which was made known at the Central Working Committee and National Executive Council meeting of Congress. All members of the union are enjoined to massively mobilize and actively participate in the NLC as a solidarity protest against the continued closure of the nation's tertiary institutions scheduled for July 26 and 27, 2022. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has summoned the Ministers of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, over the planned sale of 5 power plants. Also summoned were the Director General for the Bureau for Public Enterprise, Alex Oko, Managing Directors, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Joseph Ubo, and Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Block Electricity Trading Company, Dr. Nnemeka Eweluka. The chairman of the House Committee on Finance, James Faleke, in separate letters to the federal government, bodies and officials concerned, described the planned sale of the power plant as unconstitutional and a disservice to the nation's development, as the asset jointly belonged to the 3 tiers of government, federal, state, and local government. The letter read in part, the House of Representatives has observed with grave concern the proposed sale of the 5 national integrated power plants, namely Benin Generation Company Limited, Calabar Generation Company Limited, Gebrego Generation Company Limited, Olorunshogo Generation Company Limited, and Omotosho Generation Company Limited by the Bureau for Public Enterprise without due regard to constitutional principles and economic policy that informed the establishment of those power plants. A telecom expert has warned that collapse over 90% of telecom operators in the country may go bust within the next 5 years if urgent steps are not taken. The ICT legal and regulatory expert Ayola Oke, who spoke on the issues affecting operators in Lagos, said the bigger operators are suffocating the smaller ones. Oke, in a special assistant to the former executive vice chairman, CEO, Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, Ernest Ondokwe, said the industry is subdivided into 3 tiers. Tier 1 for the big mobile network operators, GSM. Tier 2 comprise the largely moribund operators such as Starcoms, NTS, First Wireless, Intercellular, StarTech, while Tier 3 are the smaller operators such as the struggling Internet Service Providers, ISPs, PNLs, International Data Access Service Providers, and Swift Telephone Network, Rainbow Net. He said almost all the operators that were active and vibrant 14 years ago are dead or struggling, leaving the Tier 2 space almost empty, noting that the Tier 1 operators face no competition, therefore lack incentive to improve. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has begun an economic and financial audit of some domestic airlines passing through what industry stakeholders have described as financial challenges. Already, the aviation industry regulator had audited Dana Air, and development had led to the withdrawal of the operating license of the carrier by the agency. Top industry sources close to the development said the regulator was currently auditing at least 2 other domestic carriers to ascertain their financial health. Meanwhile, the development came barely weeks after Aero Contractors announced the suspension of its operations. It is unclear if the carrier is having a financial crisis, but the management complained of skyrocketing aviation fuel prices and a foreign exchange crisis, among others. A Lagos-based non-governmental organization, the Human Development Initiatives, has said that adequate security of citizens will go a long way in making businesses succeed. The organization also said Nigeria could tackle the rising wave of unemployment in the country if the citizens, especially women and youth, were empowered with good skills that could make them their bosses and employers of labor. The executive director of the organization, Mrs. Olorunsho God's Favor, stated this on Monday at a 5-day empowerment program organized for some groups of women in Iboru, Ijagba, and Okuleso communities in Ose local government area of Ondo State. According to her, the scarcity of jobs in the country, one sure way of resetting Nigeria is by encouraging the youth and women to take up skills that can make them stand on their own and still create jobs for others. And that was business news. Back to Mojisola for the rest of our bulletin.